We're live. How's everyone doing? Welcome to another episode of FPL Focal. We're back with another deadline stream. It's Gameweek 22 already. Hope you're all well. I can't believe the turnout already. You guys are insane. I was just getting the stream ready and I noticed there was already over 10 people in the chat, which is absolutely ridiculous. Ash, we've got Ash Ketchum in the chat. The one and only. Ben Hiley, El Padrino, Finn, Golf Perfect, Kristen, Matt Lee, Nevis, Ninja, Pratiush, Ratsk, Shazabe. Thank you so much for tuning in already. Unbelievable turnout. Good to have you all here. How's everyone doing? Game week 22 already. Feels like game week 21 only just finished, and here we are with another deadline stream as always. I'm looking forward to this one. My armband is on Salah. There's been some talk, is he going to be benched or not? I don't see it happening. I'm fairly happy with the Salah captaincy, and it was good for him to finally repay, having held him for so long. I brought him in back in Game Week 15, so he's blanked for 6 consecutive weeks since I brought him in. I must have cursed Salah, but no, he finally came good against West Ham, and he was my captain. And the R-band is absolutely staying on him. FPL Kitty's in the chat. Good to have you. FPL Kitty, thanks for the retweet. I saw that just before I was going live. Golf Perfect, we'll never miss a deadline stream for the world. Oh, I appreciate that. Even if the world was going to end today, would you guys still tune in for a deadline stream? What if it really was the end of the world? And this was the last ever game week? I'm actually working from home today. But again, I skipped the lunch break in order to have this hour to do the deadline stream. And I wouldn't miss it for the world. Happy to be here with another deadline stream. Loads to get through on this one, looking forward to it. Obviously the transfer deadline was yesterday, so I've got a few bits of transfer news as well to go through. There was a couple of interesting late transfers. Maybe not FPL assets right now, but some interesting moves. Shazave says Pep is a bald fraud. Actually, I've got a little diagram for this stream which tracks the minutes that each City asset has been playing in recent game weeks. Maybe we're out of our mind trying to predict who's going to be benched next, but it's an interesting way of looking at it because it shows who's been playing recently, and there's some surprising names actually. For example, Foden's played the last 4 games in a row. Ninja says Fernandez is going to blank again. Do you reckon? He's been very underwhelming lately. I don't know what it is. Perhaps it's since Pogba came into the side. Perhaps it's just an unfortunate streak like Salah's. But yeah, I think it was just an assist for Bruno in his last 4 or 5, his last 5 games. But he's a standout, a captain pick this week. I think he's going to be heavily captained. Who have you guys captained for this week? Or are you still umming and ahhing? Nathan asks, who do you support? I'm an Arsenal fan, unfortunately. For better or worse. It's interesting though, since I've started wearing this Arsenal cap, we haven't lost a game. So, I don't know if you guys have noticed, the Arsenal cap's on every stream recently. Also because my hair's thinning, but maybe that's just the stress of FPL. But yeah, I'm an Arsenal fan. Can you see the gun? The gunner. Hussein says Tuchel's the new Pep. Yeah, Tuchel's already caused some upsets in FPL. Unexpectedly benching Chilwell and James last game week. Starting Hudson-Odoi at wing back. He brought on Pulisic and has played him at wing back before. He started Alonso last game week. Alonso obviously scored, kept the clean sheet. So frustrating for Chilwell owners. I wonder if we'll see Alonso again. And he does suit that left wing back role. He doesn't suit a back 4. I think we all know that. He's not good in a formation that has a back 4, but in a formation with wing backs, Alonso's perfect for that because he's really good at bombing down the wing, getting shots and on goal, getting into the box. He gets in the right areas. El Padrino's going Salah captain. Matt Lee's going Zaha. Very bold. I saw you were one of the first on the stream today, Matt. Appreciate that very much. Dylan's asking to start Gundogan or Justin. I would start Gundogan, but part of me is slightly worried that Gundogan is going to be the latest victim of pet roulette this week. Of course, this weekend is Gameweek 23, and that'll involve Liverpool playing Man City at home, which is a huge game in the title race. Massive game, so maybe Pep will be thinking he can afford to rotate or take the risk that he can get away with it this game week, with a view to have a fresh squad for the Liverpool game this weekend. Oh, was it Kristen that's captain Zaha? Zaha's an interesting one. One thing I will talk about later on the stream is now's potentially the time to take a few punts, because if you're planning to wildcard just before the double game week in the 26, is it? Game week 26, big double game week. A lot of people are going to be wildcarding 25. So therefore, if you want to take a punt, now's the time to do it, because you might just get away with it. And if it goes wrong, then at least you can reverse back out of it. Let's do a little bit of a news roundup. So the first bit of news, unfortunately, Joel Matip is set to miss the remainder of the season. I feel sorry for Matip. He's really quality when he plays, but he just doesn't seem to be able to string together, consistent amount of performances or games without picking up an injury. So he's out for the season, which I guess gave Liverpool the kick up the arse they needed to sign some defenders. So one piece of business that came through on the deadline day was Kabak. He's come on loan from Schalke, priced at 5 mil. He's a centre back, so we'll have to see if he gets consistent minutes as centre back, because they clearly don't trust Phillips and Williams as centre backs. So yeah, Kabak's one of those that's come in on the deadline day, and he's actually not the only one. The other one that's came in is Ben Davies. Different Ben Davies to Spurs, but he's joined from Preston North End. His contract was up in 6 months, so I think Preston, they decided we'd rather just take a bit of cash from him now than lose him on a free transfer. So he's the other centre-back that Liverpool have signed. But yeah, shame about Matip, as you say, Matt. A little bit of Everton news as well. Pickford's injured for the Leeds game this game week. He's got a rib problem, so no Pickford. I'm just trying to remember who they signed. Is it Olsen? That Everton signed. So probably see Olsen come in as goalkeeper. Maybe it'd be a blessing in disguise. I know some people have punted on Digne, so it could be a good thing. He's been a bit on and off, Pickford, this season. Another bit of deadline day transfer business is Josh King's joined from Bournemouth. Be interesting to see if he breaks into the side or where they utilise him, because he's quite a versatile player. He's capable of playing up top, but of course that's DCL spot, unless they, unless perhaps Richarlison drops out of the squad or plays left wing. Yeah, Josh King can play up top. He can also play right wing. Good bit of business though. I like Josh King as a player. I'll never forget a few seasons ago. I think he was 4.5, really underpriced, and he kind of broke through that season, and he was quality. And then I think the season after that, he scored like 16 goals. He was brilliant. So Minamino has gone on loan from Liverpool to Southampton for the remainder of the season. Be interesting to see if he breaks into the team, whether he becomes a good FPL asset. He's not really kicked on at Liverpool, and I don't blame him. It's tough, isn't it? Because Mane and Salah are of course the first choice wingers, which is where he can play, and Firmino's through the middle, and Jota's come in and really cemented himself in that team. But it's not quite gone right for Minamino, so we'll have to see how the Southampton deal goes. Jamie Vardy is out for this game week, but he could be fit for this weekend. The forgotten man Vardy. I doubt there's anyone that's still got Vardy, but he's kind of forgotten about, isn't he, because of his injury and Kane's injury. And I think off the back of his injury and KDB's injury and Kane's injury, a lot of players right now have got more money than they know what to do with. Don't know if you guys have found that, but I downgraded KDB to Gundogan, and I had like 6.7 in the mill, and I didn't know where to spend it. I ended up upgrading the Smith Rowe to Son for a hit, which didn't play off. Speaking of Arsenal, Saka and Aubameyang both spotted back in training. Good to see Aubameyang back. He was out with personal reasons. And of course Saka, who's been quality this season. Good to see him back. Heading the opposite way from Arsenal, Maitland-Niles has gone on loan to West Brom. Now he's an interesting one, Maitland-Niles, because he's been playing right back, left back, he can play centre mid. And my understanding is that Maitland-Niles wants to play midfield. That's his preference, so for 4.6 could be a potentially out of position, nailed on West Brom midfielder. Of course it's West Brom, but we never know. One to keep an eye on, especially if Allardyce does turn them around into a more defensive side. Anyway, that is the news roundup. Well behind on chat. Rask says clean sheet for Everton. Yeah, maybe. It'd be interesting if Olsen comes in and keeps a clean sheet, whether Pickford comes back in or not. On paper, it's a great fixture for Calvert-Lewin, but he's been disappointed recently. So let's hope for those of us that owns DCL that this is the week he returns. Ben Hiley has got 7 mil in the bank. Yeah, it's crazy. There's never been so many cheap options doing well from memory. Even in the strikers, you know, you look at the likes of DCL, Watkins, Antonio, all these budget forwards, you know, less than 8 mil, doing extremely well. And likewise in midfield, the likes of Gundogan, Saka, Souček, you know, so many budget midfielders putting up the same amount of points as the premiums in recent game weeks. It's crazy. Never seen anything like it. And with Robertson and Trent not performing as well as they have done in previous seasons, other options like Diaz and Stones have emerged, and Cancelo, who are much cheaper than your standard premium defenders, and you know, they're the best of the bunch right now. Ninja asks, is Pereira or Cho a good transfer? Hudson-Odoi, I'm not convinced yet. I think it's too early to be jumping on Chelsea assets because we don't really know what his best 11 is. Pereira is an interesting one. I think I've got some stats here for the last 5 game weeks, and Pereira is actually up there for expected goals. So this is the data over the last 4 game weeks, not the last 5, sorry. This is the expected goals, and Pereira right up there with the likes of Mane, Antonio, Watkins, Cavani, Pereira. So he's definitely an interesting pick, and he's done extremely well in recent game weeks. I actually don't know what he's priced, to be honest with you. I've not looked at him, but the data suggests that he's a good option. Depending on his price point, I would say the likes of Grealish, probably better options. This graphic's from FPL updates and tips on Twitter. really good account on Twitter to follow. I messaged the guy and he said just to get his permission to use these graphics because they look great, and he said, yeah, go for it, mate, use them. Sujit's in the chat, how we doing, mate? He says, curious, wouldn't you rather have Grealish than Rashford? I would, but I still think Rashford will do well over the next 3. But yeah, it's really annoying me not having Grealish because I do think he's a fantastic option, one of the best in the game. Maybe the best if you consider price point. Jonas is in the chat. How are we doing, Jonas? Good to see you. Glad you could make this one. Ratsk is asking who to bring in, Barkley or Barnes for Lookman. Definitely Barnes between the two. Barkley's not been that much of an FPL asset. It's Grealish and Watkins that are the best Villa attacking assets in my opinion. But Barnes is someone that I recommended a few game weeks ago when we were looking at KDB replacements, and I do like the Barnes pick. So this is the expected goals over the last 4. Let's also take a look at the expected assists over the last 4 too. So Mane again are up there over the last 4 game weeks, followed by Bamford, Bruno, McAllister and Saka. Surprised to see McAllister up there, but we have seen Brighton have a resurgence in form, so to speak. I'm not sure about McAllister as an FPL asset, but I mean, this is what I'm talking about. You know, there's some cheap players that are really putting up the numbers and points on par with some of the premiums. Hassan's asking Calvert-Lewin or Son. Is that who to start or who to bring in? Calvert-Lewin, you would think, has higher expected points for this game week because Spurs, of course, have Chelsea this week and they're missing Kane, whereas DCL's got Leeds, who are one of the worst defences in the league, so definitely DCL. Jack Coleman, how are we doing, mate? He asked, am I mad for going with Aubameyang? He's played a lot better recently. You might be mad, but you might look genius if it comes off. But this is something that's not been talked about a lot, but I think one of the most popular strategies this season, for those that have their wildcard still, is to use the wildcard in Gameweek 25 because there's a double in 26. So you want a wildcard and set yourself up with a really, really good double Gameweek team. And those that have still got the bench boost may even use the bench boost in 26 as well. So we're not far away from 26. So therefore, by that logic, if you want to take a risk this season, the best time to do it is now. Because if it goes wrong, then you've got your wildcard to reverse back out of that. And if it goes right, then good for you. You've flown up the ranks more than you would have. But Aubameyang, it's hard to recommend a player as expensive as him. If you haven't got Salah, I prefer him to Aubameyang if you can stretch the extra cash. Oblivious Ninja, managerial masterpiece. I mean, you have to. FPL is a game of strategy, right? And you need to have an element of strategy rather than just arriving at your team and thinking, "Oh God, I actually have no idea what I'm going to do here. I don't know who I'm going to captain this week. I don't know who I'm going to transfer." There is some element of planning, which perhaps is why the chess players do so well in FPL. The likes of Magnus Carlsen, the #1 chess player in the world, got an outrageous record in FPL. Last season he finished top 10 in the world. Adams asks, Maitland-Niles punt over Kilman. You mean to bring him in and start him over Kilman? I wouldn't be bringing Kilman in. The thing with Maitland-Niles is it's not yet 100% clear if he does start. I think he's a great option if he does. And he probably will start, but it's just not guaranteed yet until we won't know until we see the first West Brom lineup following his arrival. But I do think he'll be an out of position midfielder, and I think after this game week he'll be talked about quite a bit if he does end up starting out of position for West Brom. And Allardyce is known for his his defensive approach to games, so you'd think surely sometime soon he starts to shore up that defence and get the clean sheets that he needs, because so far he's not at all. They've been conceding as many as they did before he came in. But if you fancy a punt, yeah, Maitland-Niles, especially if your plan is to wildcard in a few game weeks. Like I say, now's the time to take a risk if you're planning to wildcard before the double game week in a few weeks. Lala Tree asks, will Antonio hurt me from the bench? There's a good chance he does. I wouldn't want to bench Antonio. Is there no one else you can bench? Dylan's going to bench Gundogan over Justin because you feel City are comfortable at half time and he'll be subbed. Yeah, we saw him come off really early a couple of game weeks back against West Brom. They finished that 5-0, so it's very possible in both the Liverpool and the City games this game week. If they've wrapped it up early, I wouldn't be surprised to see the likes of Salah come off really early. Anyway, double game week alert. This was spotted by, I think he's called Karam on Twitter. And he noticed on the Arabic Man City Twitter, this is where they were sharing the upcoming fixtures. And you can see here, this is blanked out, and I believe this is Arabic for still yet to be confirmed. And I don't know if you guys can make it out, but can you see the Everton crest here in the background? Now City don't currently have Everton in their schedule at all. Anyway, I chucked this image into Photoshop and turned the contrast up. I enhanced it, and this was the result. So this all points towards a double game week 24 for Man City and Everton, which is just around the corner. So we could see players like DCL emerge as very good options for the double game week. And this was something I talked about on yesterday's stream. I said this could happen, and then after the stream had finished, this was posted on Twitter. So perhaps a double game week in 24 for Man City and Everton. Basically, the reason I think it's not been officially announced yet is because that double game week will be dependent on Man City beating Swansea in the FA Cup. So we've got game week 22, which is now, game week 23, and then in between 23 and 24, can you see here, Man City play Swansea. That's on the 10th of February. And if Man City win that, then we're likely to end up with the Everton double game week, along with City in game week 24. So that's something to keep an eye out for. Finn, could you rate my team, please? Changes are Souček to Salah with Salah captain. Yeah, of course I can. Bear with. So this is Finn's team. What moves did you do? You did Souček to Salah with Salah captain. Okay, so you're starting Stones, Diaz, Cresswell, and Justin. I guess you'll start Kane just in case he plays, but you're likely to end up with Justin off your bench. Is that your plan? That'd be like a 3-5-2. 3-5-2 with Bamford and Kane up top, and then Justin warming the bench up for you and likely to come on. Yeah, looks good. Looks good. I like the Salah captaincy. He's got a very good record at home, better than his away record. So let's hope that Salah comes good again. A very quick update on the Kings of the Game Week from 21, if anyone that missed it. Azpilicueta joined the Kings of the Game Week. Another defender, 7th week in a row that we've had a defender. Is this the game week where we see that streak broken? Game week 22. And could it be the first week that we see a repeat player? Still yet to have a repeat all season. It's been a unique player every week, which is interesting. But there are some big names in here with good fixtures like Salah and Bruno. So maybe Mahrez could come in and surprise us. Massive thank you everyone that has tuned in so far. We've got 43. I'm pretty sure that's a record. If anyone's not subbed to the channel or new around here, please do sub. Hopefully you're enjoying the stream enough to consider subbing, and obviously leave a like while you're here. Massive thank you everyone that's tuned in so far. Dylan, Finn, Penguin, I don't see you sneaking Penguin. FPL Kitty, Golf Perfect, Hussein, Joey, Kwaku, Lalu, Ninja, Safale, The Flisk, Tom Clegg. Good to have you all here. Massive turnout. Hussein, any news on Mane? Actually, I don't remember seeing anything on Mane in the news roundup. Does anyone have any Mane news? I'm trying to remember if I saw any Mane news. I think Liverpool play. When do they play? Is it tomorrow? Maybe we've not had the conference yet. I think I read that he's very touch and go, so we might not see Mane this game week either. They might want to play it safe ahead of the City fixture and make sure he's 100% back then. For anyone that missed it, I don't actually have the tweet to hand, but I noticed in Robertson's FPL team that he sold Mane for Son in Game Week 21. This was before there was any news on Mane. So I speculated on Twitter, does Robertson know something that we don't about Mane, considering he brought Son in for Mane? And he did the same thing in Game Week 10. He sold Mane in Game Week 10. Mane was meant to have Brighton that week, but Mane didn't play. He came off the bench. So yeah, Robbo did know something that we didn't. Let's take a look at FPL Kitty's team. Love the name, FPL Kitty. Decent scorer in Gameweek 21, 68 points. Let's have a look. Great team, really, really solid. I think you can afford to roll the transfer here unless you've got two. The bench is a little bit weak, but I guess you'd have probably Sufal first on your bench, followed by Burke. It looks good to go. Who's your captain, Kitty? Let's have a look at the scout picks for Gameweek 22. So this is a scout team, just in case anyone's only listening on audio. It's Leno, Trent, Cancelo, Maguire, Salah captain, Bruno, Mahrez, Grealish, Barnes, Wilson, and Antonio. I think it's a good pick this week. The scout had an absolute disaster in Gameweek 21. I think they finished on 37, which is really poor considering they basically have a wildcard every week. I do like this team though. I do like this team. And I do wonder if this is the week we see Mahrez score. I think he's got an exceptional record against Burnley as well, if I remember right. Yeah, strong team for the scout this week. As always, each week we do track the scout, how they do. You know, how many points they get off the back of the team they picked. So tune in for the post Gameweek 22 stream and we'll see how the scout got on. You roll in the transfer, Captain Salah. Yeah, I think that's sensible. Strong team. If anyone's not voted on our captain poll yet, don't forget to get your votes in. The captain poll's on our Discord. There's a link in the description to join that. I will check the votes before the end of the stream. We are half an hour away till the deadline. Still loads to get through. I need to be careful. I make sure I actually get through everything on these streams. Right, let's have a look at the goal scorer. Excuse me, the goal scorer and clean sheet odds for Gameweek 22. So we'll start with the goal scorer odds. Salah out on top for goal scorer odds, 59% chance of a goal for him in Gameweek 22, followed by Sterling, Jesus and Mane joint third, then Bamford, DCL, Bruno, Rashford and Mahrez. Good to see Salah so high up on the goal scoring odds after his huge drop in form up until Gameweek 21. I do think he's the standout captain pick this week. And I haven't actually looked at the captain poll results yet on our Discord, but I wouldn't be surprised if Salah's the most captain on there. Danny, see you late. That's fine, we'll forgive you. Appreciate you tuning in all the same. William asks, Chilwell or Bednarek to start? I would start Chilwell just in case he does start. You'd think he won't come off the bench, so it's probably he starts or he just doesn't play at all. Because Bednarek's got Man United, right? I can't see a clean sheet there for Southampton. I'll quickly look at the clean sheet odds and then I'll do a bit more, rate my teams. So this is the clean sheet odds for Gameweek 22. Man City on top again, as always. Recurring theme, 55% chance of a clean sheet, followed by Liverpool, then United, then Sheffield, then Arsenal, Leicester, Palace, Chelsea, Newcastle. I've got a horrible feeling we're going to see more Pep Roulette, and this is going to be another week where many of us are screwed over. I'll be really happy if both my Man City defenders start this week. It wouldn't surprise me if Pep pulls something ridiculous out of the bag, like Ake and Laporte centre back. Or maybe like Laporte and Stones, something like that, because Stones has had his rest. Anyway, let's have a look at Penguin's team. Good to have you with us, Penguin. 73 points for Penguin in Gameweek 21. Huge score. Huge score. It took a -8, but it paid off. Fair play to you. What was your question? Just to rate your team. Barnes captain. God, ballsy. What's your plan with Mane, Penguin? Are you going to hold? What was he? 25% chance of playing. It's not ideal, is it? I mean, everything points towards him not playing. And considering Liverpool have got Man City on the weekend, you do wonder whether they'll play it safe with Mane, because they're going to want to be at full strength for the best chance of beating the Man City, who are obviously the most informed side in the league at the moment. So you play Diaz, Stones, Cresswell in defence. Midfield, Gundogan, Salah, Barnes is fine. I guess you don't want to start Smith Rowe if you can avoid it. So it just depends on what your Mane plan is. You're going to hold him, fair enough. So Antonio, Bamford, Lacazette, front three. The problem is you're going to have to start Smith Rowe if you're holding Mane, because I guess you have to be ready. There's a strong chance of Mane not playing. Are you not tempted to move him on? Considering that if he doesn't play, then you've got him for Man City, which is a tough game. What's your chip strategy, Penguin? Are you planning to wildcard in 25 ahead of 26? And one thing I've mentioned a few times on this stream is now is potentially the time to take a punt, if that is your chip strategy, because if it goes wrong, then you've got your wildcard to reverse back out of it. I think let me see if I can find that diagram of the Pep rotation. Here it is. So this is courtesy of Lego Mane, and he's actually tracking the minutes that these City players have played each week. I mean, let's not pretend we can predict the Pep roulette, but it's interesting to look at it this way. And you can see here he's highlighted Foden. He's actually started 4 in a row, and he did before that as well. Before getting a rest in the first game in Gameweek 19, double Gameweek 19. So yeah, I've got a horrible feeling that we are going to see some more unexpected benchings from Pep this game week. Possibly Gundogan. Hopefully not as a Gundogan owner. But it's going to be very interesting to see how he lines up. KDB, of course, still out injured. Aguero's, I think he's only just come back to the squad, but I don't know if they'll chuck Aguero straight in. He's the sort of player that needs low minutes just to get some form, to get into his stride. But I do think we'll see Mahrez. Didn't play a single minute in 21. I do think Mahrez will start. Maybe something crazy like Mahrez left wing, Ferran Torres right wing. Could be Rodri, Fernandinho, Gundogan midfield. Anyway, I'm out of my mind trying to guess the Pep roulette, but it's an interesting way of looking at it to see the minutes like this. Let's hope this game week we're not on the receiving end of the Pep roulette anyway, because I think I'm not alone when I say a lot of us were hit by it in Game Week 21. And big F in the chat for anyone that had Stones, Cancelo, Sterling combination. There were a lot. I think there was about 71k managers had that combination. Sterling false 9, Kieran asks. Yeah, it could be a Sterling false 9, which would be great for Sterling owners. Because, yeah, right now Aguero's not really anywhere near the squad. I think he's back now from being out with COVID, but yeah, the striker options really are just Jesus or Sterling. But it's been quite interesting tactically, because it's not really just been Sterling. There isn't when Pep doesn't start Jesus, it's not like there's one striker. It's not just Sterling up top. It's very, very fluid. We were seeing that with, but back when KDB was still fit, we were seeing KDB, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, Sterling, all rotating into the furthest spot up the pitch. So there wasn't actually a striker per se. It was a very, very fluid formation. Let's have a look at Ronik's team. We are just over 20 minutes till the deadline. We'll have a look at the captain poll results in a minute as well. I'm be interested to see who you guys have captained. So this is Ronik's team. What were you saying? You're planning to save a transfer, but not sure about captain. Well, I'm going Salah captain. Oh God! Just as I talked about the 71k managers that had the Cancelo Stone Sterling combination, we have one in our midst. So strong team actually. So you'll have Cancelo, Stones, and Sterling back in your starting 11. You'd have to start Robertson. So you got a bit of a headache with who to bench here. Sterling will come in for Burke. I guess you'd have to bench Souček. So what would it be? A 3-4-3. You can definitely afford to roll a transfer. Yeah, I'd roll the transfer. We'll look at the expected points in a minute, and then following that, we'll look at the captain poll results. As I say, my captain is Salah for Gameweek 22. Playing at home, off the back of a brace. Hopefully back to his best. FPL Prem Tips to ask, what's your plan for double Gameweek 26 and blank Gameweek 29? So I've still got my free hit and wildcard, so my current plan is to wildcard in 25, bench boost in 26, and free hit in 29. Ben Crellin has actually, in fact I don't think it was Ben Crellin, but I do have it to show you guys shortly. Someone's put together the probabilities of blanks in 29. And there's some teams that are basically guaranteed to have a blank in 29, so we kind of have an early idea of who's not going to be playing in 29. But yeah, that's my chip strategy. Kieran reckons Salah's the most captain this week. I think you're right. Off the back of a brace and now he's playing at home, he's a pretty standout pick. Anyway, let's have a look at the expected points for Gameweek 22, courtesy of FPLreview.com. Really good website. So they've actually predicted Salah to get 77 minutes this game week, excuse me, which I think is about right. I do think there's a chance that he comes off early, especially if Liverpool have the game wrapped up, because of course this weekend coming is the big Liverpool v Man City fixture, and that's a massive game in the title race. But yeah, Salah's way ahead, Game Week 22 for expected points with 6.8. Can you see this okay? I'll just zoom in a bit. There we go. And followed by Bruno, 6.15. And then Jesus, then Rashford, Sterling, Robbo, Trent. They obviously fancy a clean sheet for Liverpool there. Likewise for City, Diaz up there as well. Let's have a look at who everyone's captain this game week. Captain polls on Discord. Last chance to get your vote in. The poll closes on the deadline. So I haven't actually looked at this yet. So Salah's on 78 votes. Wow. You guys are really going all in on Salah. Followed by Bruno on 17. And then Sterling on 9. I like the Sterling pick. He's had his rest. You'd think he comes back in now. The third most voted option was actually other. Is there anyone in chat who voted other or has a captain that's not on this poll? If so, who did you pick? Yeah, when I make these polls, I just put who's got the highest expected points. Well, I think probably does. So I put Salah, Bruno, Son, Sterling, Rashford, Gundogan, Bamford, Mane, Grealish on there. But 11 of you have gone other. So I'm interested to know who the other is. If anyone in chat picked other. Is it a defender? Is it like a Trent or a Cancelo maybe? Maybe I should have put Cancelo on the poll. Interesting. Oops, I muted myself. My bad. I had to cough, so I muted the mic. Try not to cough down the mic at you guys. I never, I literally never make it through a stream without technical issues. Absolute disaster. Nah, it's not too bad. I've had way worse technical issues than that. As any long-time subscribers will know. I'm not still on mute, am I? Hello? Hello, hello? Can you hear me? Or are you guys winding me up now? I can see my voice in OBS. Am I muted? Hello? Am I muted or are you guys winding me up? Is chat all in on a joke that I'm not part of it? Okay, I'm good. Right. I was frantically looking on OBS that I could see the volume meter or whatever you call it. Right. Where did I get to? I'm just checking if there's anything else that I had for this stream, and then we can get back to the rate my teams. Oh yeah, okay. I mean, this is a graphic that I put together, and some of you will have seen it already, but these are the postponed fixtures that are yet to be rearranged. So basically all of these sides will get a double game week for each of these postponed fixtures. Maybe even a triple game week, but it's probably unlikely. So in terms of when these will be rearranged for, Ben Krellin, the Twitter legend, has put together his usual charts where he's speculated where we might see these double game weeks. So as mentioned earlier, 24 is a quite probable double game week for City and Everton, depending on if City beat Swansea in the FA Cup, which you think they probably will. But 26 is the big one that we all need to have our eyes on. That's the game week to target and potentially fly up the ranks. You know, I did the same for double game week 19. I was targeting that game week with my transfers, and I finished on something like 117. Huge green arrow. And double game week 26 is certainly a game week to have at the back of our heads. It's still a while away, but it's something to. Right, you are winding me up. I'm too easily wound up. I'm too gullible. Anyway, so and potentially a double game week 27 as well. So notice that City appear in all three of these. So we could see City with 3 double game weeks in the space of 4 game weeks. Oh, Nightbot's alive. I thought I turned Nightbot off. Marcus, what do you think about Barnes or Maddison? Yeah, so I've talked about Barnes and Maddison on previous streams. Back when KDB got his injury, I put together a table of potential KDB replacements with the data behind them. And Barnes was the player I recommended because he's got way better underlying numbers. So Barnes is my preference between the two. Maddison's been massively overperforming his underlying data, whereas Barnes is a generally more attacking player anyway, and he takes up areas closer to the box. You know, we've seen him in the box shooting, whereas chat's absolutely murked me today. Not gonna lie. Raka says Eze from Crystal Palace. Eze from Crystal Palace. Are you thinking about getting him in? I think at his price point there's better options. The likes of Souček, Saka, Gundogan. I'd prefer all of them over Eze. Honestly, I've not even looked at Eze on FPL. I assume he's classed as a mid. I'm not sure what he costs, but I'd say there's much better options at his price point. Let's have a look at Jack's team. AKA J Elders. So 2 free transfers and 2.7 in the bank. Bloody hell. So you got Cancelo, Diaz, Robertson, very solid defence. Bruno, Salah, Son, you have to start them. DCL, Antonio, Bamford up top. Got a bit of headache on your hands with 2 free transfers and what to use them on here. Let's have a think. So what could you do? What could you do? You only got 2 City players, so you could do Son to Sterling. That could be a gamble that might pay off. Especially if your plan is to wildcard in 25 ahead of the double game week. Could be a good time to take a punt like that. And you could afford to do that in 1, I believe. What else could you do? So the thing is, strikers, I actually think the budget strikers are the best options right now because, you know, Vardy and Kane are out. So therefore, DCL, Antonio, Bamford, all really, really solid picks. You know, I wouldn't move any of them on either. So the question is, what do you use these 2 free transfers on? You could consider the Son to Sterling move. It's a tough one with 2 free transfers. I mean, you're in a very luxury position where there's nothing that blatantly needs fixing. You know, Justin and Sufa are great picks as well. You could move Riedewald on. You could just do Riedewald to Smith Rowe. But the rest of the side looks really good, to be honest. You could do Son to Rashford, but you know, Rashford's not been putting up the numbers. Tough on that. But those are a couple of suggestions. I have to reiterate to chat as well that I actually do not have a crystal ball, so sometimes I get these suggestions wrong. So if anyone comes back on the streams, you know, the following game week and says, "You told me to do this," then do know that I'm not a psychic. Otherwise, I'd be first in the world, wouldn't I? Adam says thoughts on Robbo. Robbo's a definite hold for this week. He's been really disappointing in recent game weeks. You know, they're not getting destroyed defensively either. The problem they had is they just weren't scoring goals, but they weren't letting in goals either, and they've just been letting in 1. You know, look, when was the last time they let in more than 1? Was it Gameweek 5? I think it was Gameweek 5. Yeah, that was the last time they let in more than 1 goal. So defensively they're fine, and hopefully with the 2 signings that we talked about at the top of the stream, they'll be more assured in defence, and hopefully we'll finally see Henderson going back into midfield where he's at his best. Billy asks, Rashford or Bamford bench? Are those the only 2 players that you can bench? If I had to pick Bamford, going to my head, Bamford, but I really wouldn't want to bench either of those. Bamford could do really well against Everton this game week. Could be a high scoring game, that one. I'll say 3-2 Everton. Golf Perfect, will Martial play? I think I had that question. I would say 75% chance he doesn't, personally. I think Cavani could start again. Martial's been so poor. Dylan asks, Johnston or Martinez? Johnston or Martinez? God, that's a good one as well. Probably Johnston. Let's have a look at the clean sheet odds. What do they tell us? West Brom have a 24% chance. Villa have 27, so there's not much in it. To be honest, there's not much in it. I mean, if you want to go purely on the Bookies Odds, then you'd start Martinez. Yeah, I'd probably start Martinez. I do think Sheffield score. We might be seeing a small resurgence in Sheffield's form. So I do wonder if they keep a clean sheet there, West Brom. But I'm not sure if either side will. Less than 10 minutes till the deadline, guys. Thank you everyone that has tuned in so far. If anyone's not subbed to the channel, do hit the sub button if you have enjoyed the stream and the content so far. I'm live every game week with a deadline stream, and often post game week streams as well. I try to put together original content and look at things like the Bookies Odds, the news roundup, expected goals, expected assists, the ticker, blank game week, chip strategy. Try and squeeze in as much as I can in. To keep it original, better than just me with my team on the screen taking questions, which isn't as interesting for you guys, I'm sure. Anyway, good to have you all here. Massive turnout for this stream. Adam, Ben, Billy, Dylan, Kissy, Golf Perfect, Jack, Jonas, Kwaku, Ninja, Pistangio, Raka, Will, Ronick, Scott, Star, Flisk. Thank you all for being here. Good to have you all. Let's have a look at Ninja's team. So Ninja's got one transfer. Should I get someone before the deadline? So in defence, you would start Wan-Bissaka, Diaz, and Stones. You have to start Bamford and Antonio. How much have you got in the bank? Depends on how much you got in the bank. I guess I can check this myself. Nothing in the bank. How much is Adams worth now? Oh, 5.9. That's a really annoying price point. Because if he was less, then you could move him to Watkins, or if you had extra in the bank, DCL. But I'd probably roll the transfer. Yeah, I'd probably roll the transfer. Looks good. Good luck with your captain. Who's your captain, Ninja? So as always, I will tweet my team after the stream is finished, and this is how I'm lining up. Captain Salah again. And the other thing I'll do after the stream finishes is add the timestamps in case anyone wants to catch the earlier content, because there was loads we got through on this one. We looked at the transfer deadline, what happened yesterday, the news roundup, the double game weeks coming up, the kings of the game week, the scout picks, clean sheet odds, the highest expected goals and assists over the last 4, which players those were, and loads more. But yeah, as Ronick says, Adams, I think he's a sell. You have to move him on, but because you've got nothing in the bank, there's not really anywhere you can easily go in your team. If you had a bit of extra cash, then you could do Watkins or something like that. Five minutes till the deadline. Let's have a look at Scott's team. I don't know why it always pastes the numbers funny in the URL, and I have to manually bloody delete it every time. $86 points for Scott in Gameweek 21, huge score. I think you're gonna get in trouble with that team name. I'll take that off the screen. So he said captain is Salah, benching Cresswell, Souček, and Brewster. Oh, you got Rudiger. Interesting. So you're benching Cresswell over Rudiger, who has Spurs. Interesting. Interesting that. Team looks really good though. Looks solid. I'd probably start Cresswell over Rudiger personally. But I guess you're backing a Chelsea clean sheet against Spurs. I'm looking forward to that game because Chelsea have been really solid defensively since Tuchel's taken over. It's only been a couple of games, of course, but he's yet to play a difficult side like Spurs, so it'd be interesting to see how they do against a tougher opposition. Team looks good though, Scott. I would just personally start Cresswell over Rudiger. I mean, at best you're hoping for a clean sheet with Rudiger, but with Cresswell, as we saw in Gameweek 21, he's capable of getting an assist, even when they don't keep a clean sheet. Star says, checking FPL teams like this waste time. Oh yeah, but I have to do a bit of rate my team. You know, it's a community thing, isn't it? It's not just me rambling for an hour. You guys are here, you've liked the video, you're subbed to the channel, you're here viewing it. If there was no viewers, I won't be doing this, so I have to give back as much as I can. Scott says, no Kane, no party. Yeah, you might be right. I mean, I've seen some people benching Son in their teams. Which I'm not sure about. I mean, it makes sense, you know, he's out of form, Kane's out of the team, but still, it just feels wrong benching someone like Son against Chelsea. Dylan asks, do you think Fulham will score against Leicester? We have seen, again, another team that's had a resurgence is Fulham. And I do think they will, actually. I think Leicester win it, but maybe like 2-1. We've got 3 minutes till the deadline, guys. 3 minutes. So who are your captains, everyone? Put the names of your captains in the chat. I'm interested to see who everyone's gone for. Captain names in the chat. I'll go first. Salah for me. Nevis says son to punish. Hassan asks son or DCL. Is that to start? I wouldn't want to be benching either of them, to be honest with you. There must be someone else you can bench. Probably Son if I had to pick between the two. Youssef is Captain Salah. JG Jr. is Captain Salah. Ben and Jack are also Salah. Nevis is Bruno in all caps. Yeah, could this be the game week where Bruno finally comes good after being disappointing in a similar way to how Salah was? Star, Dylan and James are also Captain Salah. Vabil is Sterling, the only Sterling I've seen. I think he's a great option as well. Good luck to you. I'm really looking forward to this game week, and it's nice to have game weeks in the middle of the week. It's something that we don't often have, but this season of course we do. And I just love football and fantasy football, so you know, it's great for us to have the games thick and fast like this. I don't know if you guys agree. Some people said they feel a bit burnt out by how much football there is, but I love it. And I really hope this is a green arrow this week. I've barely moved up much over like the last 10 game weeks. In fact, I think my current rank is about the same as it was in game week 2 or 3. Obviously that's very early in the season, game week 2 and 3, but the ranks are very volatile that early. But I'm sitting at 139k, as you can see on the sidebar on stream. I got 62 game week 21. Kwaku asks, who should I bench? Barnes, Bamford, Wilson or Antonio? You might have missed the deadline, Kwaku. If I had to pick between them, Antonio? Arpit's called it. That's it. That's it, Arpit says. That's the deadline. We made it. Game week 22. I can't believe the turnout for this one. Before I even went live, there were already 10 of you in the chat, which is crazy. You know, this is a brand new channel, and it's amazing how much we've grown and how quickly we are. We blew through 1,000 people on the Discord. Speaking of, I have to do my routine Discord plug. If anyone's not a member of the Discord, there's a link in the description. Well worth joining. I'm just trying to see if I've actually got it open here still or not. I think I do. For anyone that's not on the Discord, I have to show you what's on there because it's actually a really good FPL resource. You know, that's not a shameless plug here. So here's some of the stuff that's on the Discord. We've got price changes, the lineups. So you'll see those in about half an hour once the lineups are out. The live scores, so that's the goals and the assists, the points they've got. The stat spot, really useful because you can say, you know, info, whoever, seller, and then the bot will chuck up some data about that player. And you can see there's the SMT command as well. So you just put your ID there, and the bot will suggest transfers. Injury updates, useful one. Bonus points, love that one. Game week stats, so things like the most captain, vice, chip usage. The top 10k stats for those of you that like to pay attention to the elite FPL managers. News, new players. This is a new channel actually. Some of the reactions on these make me laugh. I mean, the Odegaard reaction was, you know, fair enough. Big hype player, but whoever this is, Ukulslu for a West Brom. Someone's given that an OK. Johan that was. And of course the deadline alerts, which went off as well. So yeah, once the stream finishes, as always, the party carries on the Discord. I'll be on there. Star found me from Fantasy PL. Yeah, I've been a regular on Fantasy PL, the subreddit, for years, so I thought I'd have to post there for those that are interested. That said, we've got 0 karma on the post for this stream. If anyone's a redditor, quickly go upvote the FPL Focal deadline stream post. Put us back on positive karma. It's that one there. I think the problem with Reddit is it's heavily congested with people that are making their own content like me, you know, and I'm not saying this is good content, but I've watched some of the videos that people post and they're really, really low quality, respectfully. So I think they get a bit of a bad stick sometimes. Anyway, it's been a really, really good deadline stream. Thank you everyone that has tuned in. We are going to end the stream there. As I say, if anyone's not liked the video, do leave a like because it helps others find the channel. And obviously sub if you're not subbed. It'd be great to have you back again. There's some new names this stream, as well as some familiar ones. So yeah, once again, thanks for tuning in everyone. And I'll see you for a post Gameweek 22 stream. Cheers guys.